Episode 151. Komoi is demonstrating to Oriander how she managed to defeat Nail Day Astarnis with this stance. I don't think he understands. That's fair. Be taking on the final coils of Bahamut, and I expect absolutely no problems at level 80. But just to potentially introduce problems for myself and make this a little bit more interesting, decided to actually equip the same gear that I had back down at level 70 or so. The same stuff that I was using the first time I was taking on Nail without leveling things up too much. Although I guess it might have been... That's right. Yeah, there would have been some things that level sync to my level here, for example this earring, well, only this earring. So this would be item level of the highest available to a level 80 player. So to offset that a little bit, I'm equipping some gear that is slightly lower than what I think the item level I had for the nail fight the first time was. So I'm around item level 350, which I think is pretty much middle of the road based on what I see here on these level 70 gear. Sometimes 320, but higher end would be 380 or so. That would be approximately the level 70 gear that we can expect for certain endgame stuff there. I was able to beat the Avatar with this type of gear, but not Nail. And Nail, as I said before, should have been the hardest because of that hard 18-second time window and that cheap ice ball kill mechanic. The hardest enemy to deal with in any of the coils. The other coils should be survivable without as huge of a DPS as you needed for that check, but that's why I'm kind of leveling myself down a little bit. Now obviously being level 80, that does mean I do have access to some, well, certain things that weren't available at level 70. You would have access to certain job abilities, but I didn't do any job quests, and Summoner is pretty stingy about giving out some of those main abilities unless you do the job quest, so I don't really have anything new. The other thing that you get are actually stats. You do get more vitality, strengths, etc., everything, just from leveling up, so even if you were to equip all level 70 gear or something, you wouldn't be the same level, you wouldn't have the same stats as you would have back when you were level 70, just because you have some more built into your character. Regardless, I think this should be fine. I don't want things to be too much trouble for me. After that whole ordeal with Nail, I think we're overdue for a little bit more of a cakewalk. And what was it? I'm forgetting something else. Something else I wanted to do for these. But no. I'm sure it'll come to me if it's important. Man is wont to cast light wheresoever secrets lie hid in darkness, though that which he illuminateth seldom bringeth him joy. So it is with such unhappy truths as Bahamut's immense shadow does conceal. So it is with such unhappy truths as Bahamut's immense shadow does conceal. Yet ever onward forgeth Mistress Alice, undeterred by the burden of knowledge that weigheth heavy on her heart. 'Tis a perilous path she has chosen, and a painful one. I prithee, Komoi, remain by her side as her valiant blade, that she might see her quest to its conclusion. Komoi, it is well that you are here. I didn't leave since last time. My lady, how might I serve you this day? I have met with some difficulty in my mission, Oriander. I should be grateful for your counsel. As you know, Bahamut's physical form is regenerating beneath the Cardinal Flats, even as we speak. If we are to prevent this return, we must needs disable the 2 remaining internment hulks that sustain him. 2? I thought we did 2 already. Oh, I guess we left... That's right. After the first coil, we left that first one on, for whatever reason. Did we not know how to turn it off back then? Well, in any case. Every moment our mission is delayed, the realm is pushed closer to the brink of destruction. Alas, though I have determined the locations of the fragments of Dalamud leading to the hulks, I've been unable to find a way to enter them. Wait, are there 4? There are 3 tiers of the raid, but are there actually 4 internment hulks? And gaining admittance is but the first step in your perilous undertaking. When last thou descended into Bahamut's subterranean fastness, thou didst discover, didst thou not, that the dread primal had bound the shade of Nail Van Darnus unto his will? Thought that was a question, but it was a statement. And though thou didst consign the fallen legatus to blessed oblivion, thou mayst recall that the piteous wretch was not alone. Doubt not but that Bahamut's other thralls shall seek to hinder thy passage. You can say his name, Oriander. I have not forgotten that my grandfather is waiting for us. My lady, I would remind you, as I must oft remind myself, that the man whom we both loved and revered is no more. What remaineth is but a shade which defileth his memory. The vile verbiage that spilleth from his lips must not be heeded, for it cometh not from your grandsire, but from Bahamut himself. You need not worry, Oriander. Come what may, I will not stray from the course. I will not let grandfather's sacrifice be in vain. But mere words will not take us whither we must go. As I have said, I have been unable to find a way to enter the fragments of Dalamud. My lady, might I suggest that you visit the fragments again in Gomoy's company? Full oft has the warrior of light set events in motion, by virtue of her presence alone. 'Tis possible she may do so again. Really, Oriander, you're gonna call it out like that? Seems kind of, I don't know, on the nose. It's a writing thing, isn't it? That things happen when we go there? But sure, we can acknowledge it, it's fine. I the while shall search for answers of mine own. By our efforts combined, full sure am I that the past shall be revealed to us ere long. Were it anyone else, I should question the wisdom of such advice. Yet I cannot deny that what you say about Komoy is true. Very well, I shall do as you suggest. Assuming you have no objections, of course. Good. Now we seek entry to the two fragments of Dalamud. One lies at the Burning Wall in eastern Danalan, and the other at the Singing Shards in Mordona. I left an assistant at each location, with instructions to continue searching for a means of ingress. It is not impossible that they could have since found something of useful to us. Let us begin by visiting my man at the Burning Wall. Dex, I think it was. Don't even know your man's name. How many people does she have? Not really a spoiler or anything, but this isn't really a thing that is consistent in later stories. Alice has like a bunch of guys, right, who run around and do stuff for her. But that's not really a thing that happens in later stories, not really. I mean, Alphinaud has his crystal brays, but Alice doesn't exactly have her manservants and woman-servants running around for her in later stories. Was there a shard of Dalamud over here? I mean, I guess there's a bunch of corrupted crystals, so that's sort of like coinciding with the shards of Dalamud, but not necessarily all the time. There are times when there are corrupted crystals that have nothing to do with shards of Dalamud, I think. Or are they always in the same place? I don't know. Actually forgot this was here. I say, you are not Mistress Moriko. Oh, are you not Mistress Moriko? My lady's most faithful companion? Sinus, madam, at your service. And may I say what an honor it is to meet you? Komoi, under no circumstances, mentioned that Alice got the name wrong. She said Dex, didn't she? How goes the survey, Dex? Damn, Alice. This is why. This is why in the future you have no more manservants or woman-servants. Well, not really. Ahem, my lady. It shames me to say that I have found no valuable pass to the fragment. He is not even going to mention it, a true manservant. Though it stands there, before our very eyes, the way thither thus far has proven impassable. When the fragment fell and pierced the land, it caused a prodigious amount of aether to spew forth. 'Twas this that gave rise to the land's twisted lay, which seems destined to thwart our efforts. Even were an opening to exist, I fear that we would struggle to reach it. We cannot give up. Keep trying, Dex. So near and yet so far. Well, it avails us not to stand here and stare at the thing. Let us away to Mordona, and try the other fragment. Perhaps Sinus has fared better. Upon that note, my lady, there is something I must tell you. I am sorry to report that I lost contact with my brother just over a bell ago. As you know, the Singing Shards are home to many fell creatures, ogres among them. While I do not wish to cause you undue alarm, I fear something unspeakable may have happened to Dex. What? Why didn't you give me strength? You must hurry to my assistant's aid, Komoi. So did she catch it? He said Dex here. Did Alice notice? Well, maybe the danger. I don't know. We'll see. The Singing Shards are home to a host of fell creatures, ogres among them. If it would not be too much trouble, I should be grateful if you would find my brother and keep my lady safe. I don't think they're actually going to mention it. Alice is going to die not knowing whose name is whose. And actually looking at this, this looks like you could enter it from here, right? Just like with the shard over in the last coil that we did in over here. What's that place called? The North Shroud in Fulgord Float. There was actually, right here, this pass, this little mass of land, that ramps up right into a hole, what looks like a hole, in the huge Shard of Dalamud. And this looks like the same thing, but I'm absolutely certain, almost completely, that even though we see a hole right there, this has nothing to do with the final coil. It feels like they were maybe planning for this to be the entrance to one of the coils, but it ended up not being used or something strange. Oh, right, here. I think I also called out this place earlier too, as like an interesting location where there's a bunch of corrupted crystals or something that stands out. And I guess there was also, yeah, a Shard of Dalamud there. I guess you do come here for the quest, but back when I was here earlier in some Crystal Tower quest episode or something, I wondered if it had anything to do with anything, but you probably only just come here for, well, this one step. And then the actual entrance to the final coil is, well, later. And here he is. Now remember, Komoi, we are pretending that this is Dex. Or rather, it's Sinus. He's actually Dex. But Alice doesn't know that. Thank you, adventurer. For a moment there, I feared that my bones were to be ground up and to be used to bake bread. I'm relieved to see that you are unharmed, Sinus. It was wrong of me to press such a dangerous task upon you. My lady, your worries are wasted on me. 'Twas nothing at all, I assure you. Ahem. If it please you, I shall report my findings. As you can see, though the tip of the fragment is exposed, the rest is encased in rock and crystal, rendering it impossible to enter the structure. We might try excavating the area around the fragment, but that is likely to take time, and there really is no telling how deep we may need to dig, before we find a suitable point of ingress. As such, I am forced to conclude that gaining entry to this fragment is unrealistic. Forgive me, my lady. Confound it. We are losing precious time. What are we to do now? 'Tis I, Uriander. Glad tidings have I for thee and my lady. For a blessing, a way has been found by which thou mayest enter the remaining fragments of Dalamud. Pray escort Mistress Alice to the ceruleum processing plant in northern Tanalan. There all shall be made clear. We're going to Tanalan. Uriander has found a way. Then we must go to him at once. See you later, Sinus. Or was it Dex? Even I'm getting confused now. Who are we pretending this is supposed to be? You needn't linger on my account. Should Master Uriander's method prove viable, rest assured I shall put many mobs between myself and this place. I think this is Sinus, right? Did I forget too? The first guy we met was Sinus. So this isn't Sinus, this is Dex. Oops, I forgot. Well, that just means I was in character, in full method acting, in pretending this guy was Sinus. And Alice is none the wiser. Now there are corrupted crystals here, like we saw before, but I don't think there's any shard of Dalamud, even though this is related to that whole quest and all that. I'm sure Uriander is going to explain everything to us, but I was just wondering if the shards being, or the corrupted shards being always near a shard of Dalamud was something that was true. But I guess not. Mine apologies for summoning you thus from afar, my lady. But 'tis here that your journey may finally begin. I did wonder. To my knowledge, there are no fragments in northern Tanalan. Nor are you mistaken, my lady. Yet a pathway does exist. One which you yourself have made use of in the past. Okay, I was wondering about why we popped up here. Other than proximity to Cartano, I guess. Are we finally going to get an explanation? At the conclusion of your several forays into the binding coil, 'twas at the crystal formation which lies to the north of this place that you did emerge, was it not? Yes, an ethereal stream bore us back to the surface. That much I had surmised. Are you suggesting that we can use it to return underground? So that's what it was. Whenever we exited the internment hulks, it was just like a little glowing point on the map that said, exit here. I didn't really understand if that was like, I don't know, like Alice's thing here, an ethereal stream, but it just felt like they didn't talk about it, or maybe I missed it. But that's all it is. Just a little fast travel line between that point and this point. And even if that were possible, would it not simply bear us back to those places we have already explored? It need not, my lady. Pray allow me to explain. Upon the evidence of your experience, it seems plain that two internment hulks may share the self-same ethereal egress. From this, we did infer that others may be connected in likewise. Thus did we labor long to verify the existence of further tributaries to the self-same stream, in which task we were at length successful. 'Twas then but a matter of arriving at a solution to the problem of traveling to an unattuned destination. Uriander has been doing work in the background. This is why we pay him the big bucks over at the Waking Sands, why he's the big boss of the Waking Sands while Minfilia is away. That one might reach what we may call the headwater, we propose to employ a method, a modified aetherite, which serves to amplify such ripples as do originate from said source. By focusing one's essence upon these ripples, it should be possible to make the journey. Yet be fairly warned, my lady. As with all untried modes of ethereal travel, this method entails considerable danger. Merely to attempt the voyage could cost you your life. Sounds good to me. I mean, this lets us skip the rest of the coils, right? Up until now, we had to fight our way down yawms and yawms of underground passages and whatnot, and now we can just skip straight to the end. Great. That is a risk I am willing to take. You are brilliant, Uriander. But I am curious, did you have assistance in forming this plan? I could not help noticing your repeated use of the word we, unless you have taken to using the majestic plural in our absence. Nay, my lady. As you have correctly surmised, I was not alone in this endeavor. Meaning there are others who are aware of our mission. What, are you trying to hide it? While it cannot be helped now, preventing Bahamut's return is what matters. If some secrecy must be sacrificed to achieve our goal, then so be it. You can tell me, if you're not going to tell Alice. I mean, I already know who. Just tell Komoy. A sign of trust, with Uriander. You can do that, right? We can always trust you, Uriander, and you can trust us. Verily, 'twas not my wish to withhold knowledge of the aid I received. I pray that Mistress Alice will forgive me when she learneth of its source. Alright, but this is the last time you withhold knowledge from us, you hear? Okay. So that must be the modified aetherite. But what are the immortal flames doing here? Those men may be the sworn flames of Ul'dah, but they are first and foremost faithful retainers of House Leveilleur. Leveilleur? How actually do you pronounce it? Leveilleur, I think. That's how I've been saying it. I'm pretty sure they say it out loud at some point. It doesn't matter. Alfie note. So it was you who was helping Uriander. Who else could it have been, dear sister? Lest you worry, I have no intention of making the details of your venture public. Like you, I would prefer to avoid causing a panic. But given that which is at stake, namely the survival of the realm, one must be willing to accept help when it is offered. Would you not agree? At the very least, do not be cross with Uriander. 'Twas at my behest that he kept silent. We will speak later. Pray forgive me, my lady, but knowing full well your intent, I judged it meet that Master Alfie Node be informed. Though your grandsire has become Bahamut's thrall, his noble blood courses yet through both your veins, and if he must needs be struck down. Do you hear that, Alfie Node? I mean to strike down, grandfather, and when I have done so, I shall banish Bahamut to the ether. Nothing you say will sway me from my course. I will protect Eorzea, and I will uphold Grandfather's legacy. Grandfather's legacy? So you still do not know what you yourself desire. Your actions are still driven by borrowed resolve. Borrowed resolve? What does that have to do with anything? Protecting Eorzea was grandfather's goal, and we made it ours, both of us. That is why we came here, unless you have forgotten. Gods forbid I should ever forget, Alice, but you must understand. I do not question your resolve, only whence it came. If it were your own, you would be able to tell me precisely why you desire so fervently to protect Eorzea. Yet you cannot, for it is not your resolve, but grandfather's. You may struggle to see the difference, but borrowed resolve shall never be as strong as that which springs from within. But let us speak of this another time. For now, preventing Bahamut's return is all that matters. Damn, Alfinode. You're really exhibiting born 2 seconds before behavior, huh? Although I guess you could say that of either twin. To be plain, I have no objection to striking down whatever is left of grandfather. Know, however, that I will be accompanying you this time. As a son of House Leveilleur, I would be present for his final moments. Very well. You may join us, on one condition. I make the decisions. Okay, maybe she was born 2 seconds earlier. If it please, milady, the name's Erkenrad. Our preparations are just about complete. When you're ready to embark on your mission, just give me the word. I'll be waiting for you at the ceruleum processing plant. LSA won't remember your name, probably. Pay no heed to my brother, you can rely on me. We have come far together, you and I, and together we shall see our journey to its end. Although I guess the whole joke was that she didn't remember the names because they were twins, which ironically, she is a twin herself and often has to deal with that, so that's the joke. But I just like to imagine Alice is bad with names. I've been waiting for you, Mistress Moriko. I am pleased to say that the Aetherites primed and ready. As you know, the remaining internment hulks are connected to the fragments in Eastern Thanalan and Mordona. It's to the former that we'll be sending you first. Interesting. I forgot that this is how this worked, so we're not actually storming the castle on one internment hulk. We're going directly to them, kind of. So that's how they get rid of 2 more internment hulks for a total of 4 in one coil, by skipping straight to them. I still think the theory that they wanted you to storm the castle over in the Burning Wall, where that obvious hole in the Shard of Dalamud was, as like the entry point for another coil, but maybe they just changed plans to do this at some point. Now you'll be starting inside the Hulk, meaning you won't have to cover so much ground. The drawback being that you'll be fighting for your life from the moment you get there. Be prepared for anything, for Milady's sake if not your own. And that's about all I can tell you. When your preparations are in order, just give me the word, and I'll send you on the way. I may even throw in a prayer for your speedy return just to be on the safe side. And like last time, the other 2 times, we have access to all 4, but we'll be doing all of them, one at a time. So this is the one that's, which one was it? The one in Eastern Thanalan, so the one by the wall. The one that would have been the entry point, I theorize. And then the last one in Mordona, I guess. What's wrong with my portrait? So this is how it looks on the inside. The internment hulk still functions. The teleportation was a success. We are come to the right place. There is no telling how much further Bahamut has regenerated since we last beheld him. Let us make haste to the main bridge and deactivate the coil. There were receptacles similar to these in the previous hulk. Those held chimerical beasts, but only the Alligans know what other abominations may be sleeping within. They may well be part of Dalamud's internal defenses. We must stay on our guard at all times. I'm pretty sure my gear is the same as my portrait. I don't see any change. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll fix it later. Now, as it said there, I'm at only plus 300% Epic Echo. Even if I were to gain one more level as a summoner to get into what would be called the next tier above, like the next 10 levels where the Epic Echo is applied, 300% is the maximum, so there's no plus 400% above that. Which I should be glad for, so this doesn't become too easy. Already simple enough. What a cool looking place though. I completely forgot what this place looked like actually. This is my first time really appreciating it without rushing through. Now even though we're not exactly storming the castle like we did, going yawns and yawns beneath the earth in the previous two coils, I'm glad there is still a little bit of storming the castle with fighting some ads that jump out of cages to fight you and whatnot. It is of course a pain for anybody farming these for gear or whatever, but I just like the design. Any more ads here? Before they're gone forever? I guess not. Oh, here we go. Oh, that didn't wake up anyone else. Okay. Maybe you have to kill it next to one of those things over there to awaken them. Not exactly a stealth section, but could you stealth past these? Are they like trying to use my Palace of the Dead experience here? If they're sight-based, it should just be a narrow cone in front of them. If they're sound-based, I have to walk past them. Let's just try walking like this. Nope. It's either proximity or the cone saw me. And it does seem like they break out if you alert the guy next to them. I do actually want to test that though. Is this meant to be like a little stealth segment? Ah. So if I'm over here, I walk like this. If I run like this, it does seem to be conal based, like sight based. So this is actually something that people would have had to stealth spy when trying to farm this back when it first came out. If they didn't want to fight any unruly mobs or something. I'm sure there were a lot of people that pissed off their teammates by alerting the enemies at the very start. Another reason why these were removed in future things. But I like it. It's a nice build-up. Looks like a fancy coral. Is that what it's called? A coral? Like the little tiger things with the big whiskers? I guess so. I'm the good. I think there's some kind of joke with the community about this boss, or at least there used to be. I don't know what it was, but something like I'm the good boy or something. I don't know. We'll see how quickly we put it down. It's at least not instantaneous. I might actually see some mechanics. And I could even get wiped if I'm not careful. Okay, we've got mechanics. We're taking a lot of damage, and I'm not sure what's doing it. And we're hit again. Not much damage there. Whatever I was doing it wrong. For me to take this much damage at level 80. That looks like a normal tank buster, so I don't think there's anything wrong there. Sons and daughters of Indigood. Should I be worried? I think I should be. I'm almost dead. Invulnerable? Why? For what reason? There we go. I'm not sure what that phase was about, but we're past it. Unless you go invulnerable again, I think we should be okay. Or not. What was that? What hit me? Something hit me for 98,000 damage. But what was it? It wasn't Indigood, they missed me. Well, I had vulnerability up, so... Was it heat lightning? It must have been. Something related to it, I guess. Alright, before I resort to putting on the actual gear that will let me win this in an instant, I do want to just try burning it down without focusing on the ads. That might be the answer. They did go invisible in the middle there, so I don't know. Or not invisible, invincible. Maybe that'll happen if I don't take care of the ants, but we'll see. I think Electro Charge was a problem for me, damage-wise. Yeah, it's invulnerable, that's why. So why is it that I'm taking this much damage? I'm not sure where it's coming from. It seems like it's coming from the sons or the daughters or something. We could just play it safe and use our pitiful healing, even though we could be doing damage right now. Although, is this like a white mechanic that I have to out-damage? Doesn't seem like it. Heat lightning, that's what killed me last time. I see. It hits multiple times, it seems. Heat lightning. Here we go again. In order to survive it, I think I'm going to need to... One, take care of these ants quickly so they don't take out all my health. Maybe if I keep running, they won't be able to hit me. Nope. I saw one of them tethered to the other, so there's some kind of interplay between the sons and daughters that you don't want them to have. That's at least clear. Now we just need to survive that heat whatever, which should be coming out whenever they're done charging, I guess. Or am I supposed to be damaging it so it doesn't charge? I think I should be, yeah. Because those stacks keep on rising. Now that the stacks are gone, let's just try... I think those stacks are unrelated to heat rising, but you don't want those stacks to reach maximum. Damn. It's still killing. There's something going on here. Some kind of mechanic that I should probably learn before trying again. But I do just want to try one more thing before resorting to the higher level here. I was just kind of doing pretty terribly taking care of those ants whenever they came out, and that's where a lot of my health was drained. That might be enough for me to make it past the kill phase Encoder has, or as long as I have enough HP to survive it. I think all I'm going to need is just to save my attack spells that I get from Aether Charge for those sons and daughters, and take them out without the AoE spells, which don't seem to be doing much, but rather with the single targets. It might be that they have increased defense when they're all next to each other and whatnot. That wasn't as efficient as I'd liked, but it's getting somewhere. Alright, you can do a little bit of... oh, wait. That thing. A little bit of healing. I don't think we have to worry about that charge thing until it gets, I don't know, up to 9 or something. I'm just assuming it has nothing to do with the heat thing that keeps on killing us in later phases. But let's just start doing damage. And again, we're going to save these spells for these guys that are about to come out. I can kill them a little bit quicker, I think. Hopefully. Alright, here we go. I don't have Fester, so that's going to be unfortunate. Damn, he walked over. Really need to save Fester for that critical moment when they're all distant from each other. Keep an eye on those charges. It's still invincible. Oh, I guess it still has to summon more sons and daughters, huh? Alright, we're pretty good on health. That's about as much as we can have. We won't let these stacks build up now, and... for the upcoming heat rising, or whatever it was, heat lightning, put up the barrier, see if we can survive it this time. Oh my god. It's crazy. He's crazy. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure why that kills you so badly. It doesn't seem related to the stacks it builds up while it's charging, so... I think it has something to do with the sons and daughters that you kill, I can only imagine. It could be something like the amount that you kill is... coinciding with how much damage the next heat whatever does, heat lightning. I can only imagine that. Or was it like a proximity thing? I kind of got pushed back there. I'm going to look it up after this fight. But I'm actually gonna just equip the highest level gear that I have for now. To DPS him down past that last bit. If I can. This might go as poorly as it did last time. Pretty much have to take out 50% of the health in a short amount of time. And it's charging again. We got it down to 45, I guess. I don't have any debuffs on me from killing these things, so it might not be related to these that it gets all charged up from. I can't imagine what else it would be, though. I probably never interacted with this mechanic on my main character because after I hit the wall, that is Nail Deus Darkness on my main character, I would have also had to turn on Unsynced and just skip by everything at level, I don't know, 90 or something. Not sure what level I was. Oh right, we can attack. And we should actually be attacking with more celerity right now. Before that big damn attack comes out. And this should be it. Before we even test it, if we survive with level 80 gear. We don't have to learn everything about the coils, it's fine. Alright, it turns out I had to immediately resort to my level 80 gear. But we'll go back to level 70, just because. You were no help. By the 12 dragons, and so many. We were aware that the Allagans possess the means to control creatures, but to imprison them thus is barbaric. I would not wish such a fate upon my worst enemy. It is plain that no love was lost between the Allagans and the dragons. But was it truly necessary to keep so great a number here? Dalamud did not want for defenses. This we have experienced firsthand. Such guardians as the Allagans created, both living and unliving, were surely no less capable of repelling intruders than these poor creatures. Tell me something, Alice. Have you not managed to determine by whose will Bahamut exists? No, I have not. At first I assumed that Bahamut had no people of his own, that the Allagans had perhaps discovered a way to simulate prayer itself. However, Nail's words gave me cause to reconsider, specifically, the Shade's mention of Bahamut's beloved children. From that I inferred that the Primal is given form by the will of worshippers whom we have yet to... Oh. God strike me down for a blind fool. Bahamut's beloved children, right there before my very eyes. How could I be so stupid? Who else but the dragons of Eld would summon Bahamut? Who else but they could sustain him? And to think I wondered why the Allagans kept them imprisoned here. Even should the flame of Bahamut's life go out, his faithful children would summon him back. For this reason, the Allagan Empire kept an army of dragons here, in a perpetual state of duress, that they might sustain the Primal's existence. Truly, the Allagans' ingenuity knows no bounds, and neither did their cruelty. Small wonder that Bahamut was so enraged. Let no one deny that it was man who sowed the seeds of the calamity. Will you now turn your hatred towards our own kind, dear sister? Do not patronize me, Alphinaud. I merely acknowledge our guilt. Lest you be in any doubt, I have no intention of allowing Bahamut to lay the world to waste, regardless of the atrocities the Allagans committed against his kind. We have no choice but to eliminate all who worship him, be they his children or his thralls. It seems reasonable to assume that the system responsible for the Primal's regeneration is also responsible for sustaining the captive dragons. If we disable it, all should perish. Let us press on. That's dark. Are they dead already in those tubes? I don't actually know. I remembered this little detail. I didn't remember the exact setting, like that whole landscape that we saw in the first coil. But I did remember those dragons kind of being in perpetual torture chambers or something, for the sake of summoning Bahamut. That was a little detail that stuck with me, and it's also a reason why you don't want to skip all of these turns, even though you can just do the last turn. There's always something to see, whether it's gameplay mechanics, bosses, or the environment or lore. Let's have a look. I do not have the time to venture into another coil, although maybe. No, I don't think I do. This is the IC06 regeneration grid, and this is, yeah, it's still the same one. So the next one will be the third turn will be the Internment Hulk, that's in the shard in Mordona. The one over here. Starting turn 3 there. Again, I never really paid attention to the physical location of things with my main character, or at least, because I was rushing by, I didn't pay as much attention as I would have wanted to. But I'm doing it now. Since we're in the area, I'm going to kill time with this Imperial. We played with a little bit before, Triple Triad. This guy still has some cards I haven't unlocked yet. Should be good for building up a Guardian whatever deck. Actually, is this an Ascension deck? Just in case it is. Yeah, it is Ascension. That's why he's running a Guardian deck. Well, I'll use my own Scion deck here, which is actually missing Thancred still. I haven't figured out where he is, how to unlock him. Wait, we're tied? How'd he tie me? I wasn't paying attention. Oops. Guess I'm gonna have to play a little bit more carefully. Even if I win, there's no guarantee of a new card. Let's see. Do this. And if you capture our own card, we can do... Let's do this. No, that's too weak. Oh, we can do this. No, that's also too weak. Okay, we'll start with this. Okay, and now we can take this. And now there's no way we can lose, right? Right. In Ascension, the highest rank there is Ace, a 10. So the numbers don't matter when the numbers get too high. Wait, we got Gaius Van Baelsar? That's pretty good. That's like one of the best cards there is for Guardian decks. I'm happy about that, but if you've still got one more for us, I'll try for it. Alright, I was expecting that. I'm just ill-prepared for it. This is actually not good. Okay, good. I was hoping you wouldn't place it there. Is that our last one? No, we already had it. I guess the last one would be a Nero card if this is like Gaius Van Baelsar and his big three, his 3 heavenly kings or whatever. We'll worry about that later, I guess. I think next time we can wrap up the last 3 turns in one go, if things go smoother than they did in the first turn. Before we wrap up the final coil of Bahamut once and for all, now would be a good time to take a break.